What's going on, beautiful people? We are so excited for you to be a part of this journey because little did you know, you're a part of something that you didn't know you needed.
Welcome to the Mental Max Out podcast, where we like to bring our living room conversations to your living room, or your drive, or your gym workout, wherever you might be tuning in from. We thank you so much for being here.
And it's probably going to be a baby running around, but deal with it.
That's life.
What's going on, beautiful people? We are back again in the comfort and safety of our living rooms.
Hey, we are so thankful that you chose to join us for yet another week of just growth, life, learning, love, all things here at Mental Max Out.
Oh, on this day, hopefully Serena, because you know she's running around, decides not to lose it, but you never know, and fingers are always crossed.
We're gonna do something a little different this time. So we hope you buckle up your seatbelts, put that pot on simmer. Wherever you're listening from, you have a second where you can just listen in and have a laugh. But before we dive into it, we just wanted to let everybody know we are gonna take a little break for 3 weeks. There'll be no new episodes for 3 weeks because we just need a break, and we preach it all the time, but we really need to relax and rest and just, kind of spend some intentional family time. So we will be taking a break for 3 weeks.
But we promise when we do come back, we will be bringing the heat. As my beautiful wife just said, we're going to do something a little different.
Speaking of the heat,
Speaking of the heat, yes,
it's about to get hot.
it is about to get hot. In the way of hot takes.
Banana.
Hot takes as far as things that people may overlook, or just don't pay that much attention to.
We are surrounded by sayings, phrases that we just are supposed to accept as like truth. Things that people say to you, I don't always agree with them. So we're going to just kind of dive into some things that are common phrases, sayings, stuff that's been said to us, stuff that we have challenged, and give you our hot take on it.
Hot take number 1, date night is overrated.
Agree.
Because when we came through the door as first-time parents with Serena, we heard this all the time. Don't forget to date your significant other. Don't forget to date your spouse. Remember to date each other. And I'm not saying that advice was bad, but for us, it just didn't work because we were exhausted all the time. And then when we finally looked up and we were like, you know what? We would like to have some time with just me and you. We didn't want to go on a date. We actually wanted to go to the gym. We actually wanted to go for lunch. We didn't want 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock out. We wanted that 10 to 1 sweet spot.
And if I can be really honest, I don't want somebody to come over and watch my kids so I can leave. I want someone to come over and take my kid to the park so Akeem and I can sit on the couch, watch some softball or some football or whatever's on TV at 2 o'clock p.m. and not have to worry about the child. And here's the thing, Serena still takes a nap a day. So arguably we do have that time. It's just different though. It's just different. Waking up and maybe we can just go through the morning of just usual stuff without her. Like, we love to grocery shop. And I know what you're thinking. Well, that's a date. Going grocery shopping is a date. And I guess it is. Every time without fail. And I love my parents. Mom, I love you. They're always like, you guys want to go out? I'll watch Serena. You guys can go out. And I'm just like, out where? I don't want to go out and do anything because I'm tired. So I just think that I would agree date nights are overrated.
I'm about to drop the bomb on this one, babe. You're not always going to like your spouse. I know what you're thinking. Some of you are like, I know, right? No, but I mean in that moment, you both know it and you just don't like each other. And I'm not even talking about you're getting on my nerves like each other. No, right now, I don't like you. I need more space. I need some time. And I just don't like you right now. Either because you're in my space or you're just past the point of annoyance, but I can't leave. Or we can't just get away from each other, but you're not always gonna like your significant other.
It's impossible to be around another human being and always be joyful, always be interested. Like, I'll be honest, sometimes Akeem is talking to me and I could not care less what he is saying. I just don't care. And sometimes, especially at towards the weekend, I am like, leave me alone. I love you, but go do your thing. Let me do my thing because I'm either socially tapped, I'm mentally tapped. I just think that there are times when you just want some you time. Your spouse will have done something that aggravates you, or they will have done absolutely nothing to aggravate you, but you're just like, I don't really like to hang out with you right now. And that's okay. Like, people always think that oh, that's my person, oh, this and that. And it's like, no, 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 no. Akeem has habits that drive me up the wall. And I know I have habits that drive him up the wall. We've talked about it before on this podcast. You're not going to always like your spouse. That one is for sure true. I'm going to give you hot take number 3, which is the opposite. Your significant other is your best friend.
Oh Lord, go ahead, give it to him. Break it down for him.
Well, I said that I agreed that I think Akeem is my best friend. But here's the thing. Maybe by circumstance, physical proximity, he checks those boxes. But there's stuff I'm just never going to tell him. There's just stuff I'm never going to tell him.
So
About what I said just now about how he drives me up the wall. I'm going to take it to the grave in most scenarios, but I'm going to tell my best friends about it.
so
Tell them. Be
the
honest.
very first time Allison looked at me in my eyes and she was like, I love you. And I was like, oh, I love you. And she was like, you're my best friend. I looked her dead in the eyes and I said, thank you. You're not
Charming.
mine, but thank you.
He literally said, you're not mine. Like, women out there, like, what would you do in that scenario? What would you do?
And she looked at me like, wait. I said you're my best friend. And I said, oh no, thank you, but you're not mine. And she could not believe I said that. And I honestly was like, yeah, like, I'm not going to tell you everything. And at that stage in our relationship, I didn't feel comfortable in telling you everything. So I was like, you're not my best friend, but you're a really close friend. You're a good friend. But my best friend, that notion where people say, I married my best friend, did you? Or do they feel the same way? And it's okay if the other person doesn't feel that way in that time. They might eventually get around to it because, since we've been together now, I've eventually said that. But in the beginning, absolutely not. And I think that's one of the things that you get sold a lot is to say, when I'm ready to marry somebody, they'll be my best friend. I just find that hard to believe. I think as you're going through the relationship, you develop this friendship and you will eventually want to become best friends. But in the beginning, no way. Ain't no way.
You should split everything 50-50
Well, I'd be out on these streets if I was doing that.
on the street.
I'd be out on these streets.
When we started dating, I definitely I want to share everything 50-50. And my sweet and loving husband to be was like, that's not possible.
Charming.
Because you're not always going to be on. And you can't. It's physically impossible to split everything 50-50. Sometimes you're going to be 70-30. Sometimes you're going to be 80-20. You don't have the same energy every day. So how are you going to continue to maintain the same thing every single day? Like,
and I think that whole idea about the 50-50 thing is dumb too, because that means everything has to be, like you said, in the perfect scenario. We were both making the equal same amount of money. So we're going to split our car payments, these house payments, all of it down the middle. In most situations, that's not the case. Somebody's making more than the other. Somebody is more financially sound than the other, but 50-50 is that idea of it's always down the middle. And I just don't think it's realistic. I think it leads to headaches and eventually problems.
how do you track that? Because, like, here's the thing. I can tell you wholeheartedly, I don't bring 50% effort into our relationship every single day. Every day, I cannot bring 50% of what? That's the other thing, right? Like, of what? Because then I've also seen people say, well, you should bring 100 and your partner should bring 100.
These arbitrary, like
But
ridiculous
of
numbers.
what? Like, how are you measuring that? It makes absolutely no sense. Truly, there are times where I'm gonna tell you, this weekend I washed some dishes, y'all. And
She
if you've
did.
been here a while, you know
She did. She
that
actually did. I was surprised,
I
actually.
don't really do that. So if Akeem was like, yeah, dishes 50-50, guess what? The sink would be piling up. The counter would be piling up. And then guess who'd be annoyed? He would be. Because he's trying to split the dish responsibility with me 50-50, which means what? There are 365 days out of the year. That is an odd number, ladies and gentlemen. So you can't even split it 50-50.
Can't
How are
even
you
do
going to
that.
do that? So I just think that that is something that is unrealistic.
And I think you also have to look at it too. Instead of saying 50-50, let's look at the spectrum and say 0 to 100. You have to know your partner to know tonight's a 20% night from them. Okay, then you have to bring 80, and that's okay. Or tonight they got more than you. And there's been plenty of times when it comes to Serena that she's had more than me. And I'm like, well, just finish up the day and give her 30%. So you just have to know your partner and figure out what you can give and what they're giving. But the whole idea of saying 50-50 is not going to happen.
Hot take number 5. You can't pour from an empty cup.
Oh man, it goes back to that whole notion of like, you think you always going to have something. You think you can always bring something to the table. And it's like, sometimes you got to be a little selfish. And there's been times in our relationship where I've had to tell you, like, you need to go to bed. Because right now your attitude sucks. You're just not bringing it. And that's okay. So go to bed. But to think you need to force yourself to stay up, to continue to do things, and you just ain't bringing it. You don't have the energy, or you're bringing everybody else down with your lack thereof energy. You actually just need to stop because you don't have it in that moment.
I think that was really good. I think you always have to pour into yourself. We talk about that all the time because let's be honest, logistically, you can't pour out of an empty cup because there's nothing in the cup unless you're my 2-year-old trying to pretend to, give her teddy bear a drink of water. You can't do it. You truly, truly, truly have to pour into yourself.
And not only do you have to pour into yourself, you have to make sure you have enough that when you do pour into yourself, that when you do pour some of it out, you don't give out too much. And I know what I just said, that you don't give out too much because you have to make sure you can what? Finish the day, be a good partner, have energy. What are your other obligations? Like all of these things have to go into that thought process. But if you pour in 50%, let's use that number, and you pour out all 50% to your partner, you have 0 again.
0.
And that doesn't make sense. So literally, you have to pour in 50, and at some days, you might give them 20. Some days, you might give them 10. And that's okay, as long as they know that.
You ain't ready for this one, babe.
Oh, give it to me.
Fake it till you make it.
Hey, look, you got to be who you got to be, man. That real you gonna come out at some point. I've always liked this hot take because I think eventually that is you. But right now, you just gotta fake it. And I think some people go through the notion that they're like, oh, well, I want to have it perfectly figured out before I do this. I want to have a plan before I go in this direction. And I'm like, nah, man, just do it.
I have 2 takes on this. First take is in a relationship, can't do it. Sorry, you just can't. Like, you can't fake nothing. Well, you can. But in any case, at the end of the day, your partner's going to know. And if you continue to fake things over years and years and years, you're going to be miserable. And eventually, it's just going to blow up. So I don't think you can. However, professionally, yeah, professionally. I told Akeem this the other day. I said, let me tell you what you do when you apply for a job and you do your interview. You always answer the question about what you can do, not what you've done. Because by circumstance, you may not have had the opportunity to do something, but that's not your fault. It's not your fault that your organization said no to your idea. It's not your fault that they did not want to fund it or that they weren't willing to take the risk on it. That doesn't mean you're not capable of doing it for this next position. You just couldn't do it then. So heck yeah, professionally, fake it till you make it, baby.
Going back to that first point you said about the relationship, I think a lot of people go into it with that whole faking mindset. You have this attraction, or I met you at the club, or I met you somewhere. And so you fell into this attraction piece, but then it's hard to keep that up because that real you gonna come out at some point. So to your point, babe, it's hard to fake it because it's eventually gonna come out. They're gonna see the real you. So be who you are. Let them know that in the beginning. Like, let them know, like, this is who I am, or this is what I do, or this is how I go about things, because you don't want them turning around and be like, this ain't what you said. No, it is. I told you. You just save yourself a lot of headache in the late run.
I'm gonna round it out with this last one, okay? The early bird catches the worm.
I'm telling you, these old sayings, look, I'm up before the birds because, like, literally when I get up and my alarm goes up at 3:45, I hear no birds. You know why? Because they're sleeping. They are sleeping. So this whole notion about the early bird catches the worm, at the end of the day, it's you got to network. You got to still put some work in. You still got to work hard. But now in this day and age with social media, it's how many people know you. Before it's how many connections do you have, but now it's how many people know what you're doing. This whole notion of the early bird catches the worm, I think it's outdated, to be honest.
I don't agree with it because I think you could be first. You could have completed your assignment on time and everything been wrong.
Wrong.
Right? You can be the first person, but you could be the first person showing up on time, but then you do nothing right at work. You could be the one showing up, making sure that you do all the things that look good on the front end, but then your back end looks terrible. The other side of that too is like you're first, but were you effective? So like you could have done something really, really well and taken longer time, or you could have done it okay and been first. So I just don't really think that applies in every situation.
I love that. And then not only that, too, it applies to just everyday life. Like a bunch of people that are successful now is not because they were first. It's because they figured out how to be more efficient at it. And so in a lot of the situations that you are doing, if you're worried about being first, then you will eventually get past because people are going to figure out how to do it more efficiently than you. They're going to figure out how to take less steps than you did. So it's actually like figure out how to master it and figure out the right necessary steps, because guess what? The thought that you have, it's not original. So somebody's already done it. Somebody's already came up with it. So figure out where they went, how they got there, and where they stopped and why. And then when you do that, guess what you're doing? You're mastering your abilities. But if you're trying to just always be first to do it, it's going to just leave you exhausted with actually no point.
We hope that you enjoyed this episode, short and sweet hot takes. We are going to do this every so often. So if you liked it, please send us a message on Instagram until Max Out the Podcast and let us know.
We're excited. And so we'll see you in 3 weeks. Peace.
Thank you so much for tuning in with us this week. We hope that you took from our conversation something that will help you grow this week.
We hope you laughed, didn't cry, but definitely got a good smile out of it because, heck, we always appreciate you coming by.
If you're so inclined, follow us on social media at Mental Max Out the Podcast on Instagram.
Tell your friends.
See you next time.